3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Hashgraph. For everything Hedera Hashgraph related with Peter Uliano, Mark Lombardi, and Jacob Williams.
Hello, this is Mark Lombardi here with Peter Uliano and Jacob Williams, and we are the Hashgraph chat, and today we're just going to roll right into it and start off with a deep conversation about the simulation and the fact that we're all locked in an AI environment that we have no control over. But so no, let's kick off conversation with the simulation, because that's not necessarily tied to Hedera Hashgraph, but certainly has implications on the whole cryptosphere and that's it.
Well, the simulation runs on Hedera.
I guess so. Yeah. Well, yeah, Peter, you and I yesterday were talking a little bit about how my belief structure in the fact that gossip about gossip might be the core of existence. I thought, this idea that everything in the universe is really just kind of gossiping about itself and spreading its message out is kind of an interesting way to look at the world.
No, it is. And yeah, I don't know Jacob's thoughts on simulation theory or whatnot, but so basically, like that's why I asked Lehman on Hbar.news what his thoughts on simulation theory were, and his answer was very Lehman-like. But I mean, Nick Bostrom, a modern philosopher, I guess, said that there's like three choices for humanity. It's humanity never gets to the simulation point. He calls it post-human, but humanity never gets to the simulation point and we all just die off. Humanity reaches the simulation point, but we're not capable of running multiple simulations. Or the third choice is we most likely live in a simulation because we do get to the point where we can run simulations.
What is the paradox of knowing, though, that like you are in a simulation? Like, doesn't that break the simulation or no?
I don't know. Me and Mark were talking about that. Was it Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. So, I mean, if we're in a simulation, I'm here, I'm present. I mean, so.
That explains the deja vu.
Yeah, absolutely it does.
It's a glitch.
Wait, didn't I do exactly this?
Didn't we do this last week? So that Deepak Chopra with the Chopra Foundation had mentioned he talks about metahumans and how we're all kind of evolving into this, I guess, artificial intelligence, this collective intelligence that where we kind of exist outside of our own bodies and in perpetuity in this system.
Well,
like a global consciousness?
Like a hive mind?
Yeah, kind of like a global consciousness. I think that's his
can see it
take
happening.
on it.
Look at what you see on social media these days. Like, everyone just parroting each other. It's like hive mind. But I do want to say, for the metaverse and about the simulation thing, I think we, as humans, we are not known for moderation. I do think that the metaverse is good for like a fun type of game thing like Second Life or whatever, right? But I think just like social media has really has like dumbed down our youth generation, you know, I'm 32, so prior to me, and I think the science is already out that they have like an attention span less than a goldfish now. That's some serious ramifications of the tech that's out there currently, just always looking at your phone and scrolling. And I just hope that the metaverse doesn't take the wind out of people's cells to be conscious enough to try hard in real life and not more in their fake life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know that I that I see a difference between the real world and the meta world. I really do think that one feeds the other. You know, that the metaverse exists within the real universe, and I would make it akin to like a spreadsheet on a computer, right? Just because I'm working on a computer creating a spreadsheet, am I not doing the same real work that I would have been doing if I'd been filling out a ledger in a black book, right? It's that kind of work still needs to be done. I think that a lot of times, Peter, that article that you had in Hbar.news spoke a little bit to that as well. I can't. Sorry, I don't know where I was going.
But at the same time, like you're talking about doing a spreadsheet and stuff, and yeah, no, that's not a problem in and of itself. But if you're sitting in front of the computer all day and you're obsessed with that spreadsheet that you can't even look at your wife, like that, then it becomes a problem. Like Ogilvy and Mather, you know, the big marketing agency, they had an ad I saw recently on LinkedIn, and it's like a picture of a father and his daughter sitting on the couch. And in between the couch, it's a huge iPhone separating them.
Right.
Yep.
And
I mean, you can say that has been deteriorating forever. I mean, if you go back to the 50s and 60s, there was the TV dinner, which is a complete destruction of the family dining unit, right? That's where you're supposed to sit down and have conversation and catch up on your days and see what everybody's doing and interested in. But instead, people were sitting on couches watching television mindlessly. And you can even go back further to radio as well. I'm sure grandparents were yelling at their kids because their grandkids were sitting on the floor in front of a radio listening to the Howdy Doody show, and this was going to ruin their lives. So it's the same story over and over again. Now, have our attention spans gotten shorter? Yeah, but we also are a million times more productive now than we were.
But we also feed into that.
Unless there's a solar flare.
but we feed into that lower attention span. I mean, essentially that's what TikTok is. They're like, hey, people can't pay attention to YouTube anymore. Let's make little short videos to keep them more consumed. I mean, so does technology make us more productive? Of course it does, but there's got to be a point where people have to know to unplug. And I think that's what Jacob was saying about the metaverse. You can't just be sitting there rotting away, not eating, just with a VR headset on, living this totally alternate life.
And I think it's interesting though, and it's so crazy how often science fiction becomes real. Reality. You know, between the holograms, Star Trek and what have you. Like, I read these books and like virtual reality in the future. These people get into these pods, and they even have like almost like IV bags that keep them, sustained during long sessions in the pods, and they can, see, look, and feel like everything that's going on as if it's like real life, as if they're there. And they're like in a stasis almost, though. And yeah, but what you're saying though, going all the way back to the radio, so the simulation has been slow boiling us like a lobster so we don't scream till it finally takes over.
Yeah, or maybe it's been toughening up our skin so that when we get to the point where it's at full boil, it doesn't matter to us. That's our environment that we live in.
Yeah, we're just chilling.
We're used to it.
Chilling in the pot.
Yeah. Cool. Let's see what else we got here. I saw that article about Hello Future DAO on Hbar.news as well. I wanted to talk about that a little bit because I didn't realize that they had that when Ethereum. I know Ethereum has had a number of forks, but I didn't realize that the Ethereum Classic fork was a result of a DAO that had been stolen from.
Yeah, I was unaware of that too. Elizabeth Chase from Hello Future Buzz and Hello Future DAO sent that article to me, and yeah, I found it interesting. But yeah, history on Ethereum, I'm not too sure about. I think Jacob might know more than us on that front.
Well, all I know is, since I've been in, and since I've been in I think it was the London fork. Was it the London fork they called it, that they recently added to try to like ease up congestion on the network? When NFTs started booming, they couldn't handle it. Like that's when the gas was like $700, $500 just for me to mint a picture on Foundation.
Is that when CryptoKitties came out?
I don't know. It was just like it was when the 10K collectibles really started to take off, and Ethereum just got so congested. I mean, I remember paying over $200 just to mint one of my photos, you know, and gas has gotten so bad that it's too expensive for me to burn them, because what I had them for sale for is less than what it would take me to actually get them off their platform. But yeah, no, it didn't work. Ethereum is not built right from the ground up. It doesn't scale. And you're seeing the results of that right now through the high prices and everything.
I don't know that 2.0 solves that either.
They would have, in order for 2.0 to solve it, they would have to go right down to the base, because the base is what's the problem, right? They'd have to go from a proof of work to a proof of stake, cut out the miners, right? Because the miners people don't they talk about like, oh, gas this, gas that, but there's like a whole monopoly behind that, right? And it's like a miners union, and that's what keeps Ethereum chugging along. That's what keeps all proof of work really chugging along, is the miners. But I mean, it's got to go proof of stake. And I remember when NFT Miami, I think it was last year, and Vitalik was asked about Ethereum 2.0, and I'm like, not exact quote, but I think he said it's way off. And it's much more than just a sideways switch. Like it's a whole, rebuild.
Well, and I know you had mentioned that proof of work needs to change over to proof of stake. But even with proof of stake, I think the one thing that Hedera did really, really well. I think they did a lot of things really well. But the thing that sticks out to me that Hedera did really well is pricing the transaction fees in U.S. dollars at a microtransaction cost. Because not that long ago, Polygon had their gas fees spike too. So when your gas fee is directly tied to the demand of the token, when it grows exponentially, that gas fee is going to grow exponentially with it.
Oh yeah,
it's not going to scale with it.
That's the whole problem with Ethereum. And
right, and I don't think any of these other side chains really solve that problem either. They're affordable now because the token is affordable, but when the token's not affordable, the gas isn't going to be affordable either, and then your whole microtransaction concepts go out the window.
Yeah, I know. Like Tezos is cheaper than Hedera to mint. It's not as efficient, it's not as quick, but it's fast. I think it costs like anywhere from like 5 cents to 10 cents to mint something. But it's not static like Hedera, and static is what you want when you're building a project, right? So that's what I've always talked about, why Hedera is pretty so amazing for builders, because anyone that has ran a business or whatever, they know that predictability is worth a lot. It's peace of mind, it's almost everything, right? I can't go on Ethereum and start a business, and one day it's going to cost me $80 to run it, and the next day it may cost me $500, depending on who wants to drop a project. Who can actually work around that? I don't know that it's sustainable for anything other than a quick cash grab, right? So if I want to build Wafu token, I want to build it for a long time. That's why I'm choosing Hedera, because it's predictable.
Right, you can budget for
it. Is nice. Yeah. Because we know exactly how much. If I want to mint, 15,000 waifus, I can know exactly to the dime how much that's going to cost me.
Yeah.
And that's not something you can say with other chains at all.
That's something I'd like to talk about a little bit. Is tokens. Not fungible tokens, not non-fungible tokens. Waifu is you have a fungible token for it.
We're gonna have the token is Wafu is going to be the token.
Yeah, and that's your fungible
then-
token.
Yeah, and then we're going to have a staking token called Seifu that you get for staking Wafu.
Gotcha.
Seifu, SAFU. So the joke was like keep your waifu Seifu.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I minted my own token as well, which is the Mark Lombardi rewards token. And when that ability first came out, I think I did it on Hex. So I created my own token with the.
Of course, everybody
did. But I'd love to figure out some way to do something with that kind of stuff. I figured, as maybe it's a rewards for purchasing NFTs from me, or some, I don't know. I'd love to figure out some way to.
Put liquidity
make
behind
use of
it.
I have no idea what to do with it. I just
made
one.
There's a token on the Zilka network. I think it's called Gary from SpongeBob. It's like the Gary the Snail, and I don't know how. I think it's less than 100 tokens. It may even be like 20 something. I don't know. Like, don't quote me the exact number, but just one is worth like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
There's like none of them. It was made as a joke, but it's like they do a lot of charity stuff. So I don't know. That could be like the Mark Lombardi Charity Foundation token. I don't know, but you need the liquidity for it to be worth anything, and to keep it from like how we talked about before in private, like security versus commodity. You can sell your NFT something, right? And then instead of cashing out the money from the NFT, you put that into an LP pool that will feed your token. And as long as you have like a revolving door of cells, you can keep feeding in funds to your liquidity pool, and it will, value.
No, you don't need a liquidity pool to do like a rewards type of token, right?
No,
because you have the inventory to back up what that reward is going to be redeemed for.
The token, like, it will be worth nothing if you don't have a liquidity pool. It's worth something if you reward them, like, I guess, out of your own pocket. Like, if they give it to you and say, okay, I'm going to buy an air book now that, like, if you redeem this, I'll go buy something with fiat and then I'll mail it to you. That's worth something, I guess, but a token needs a liquidity behind it. You need some money to back up the currency. Yeah.
What about like rewards? Like, you go to a deli and they have these like digital rewards that aren't based on crypto. But if you translated those to crypto, do they have to have a liquidity pool?
If you already have
can't they just have
set up,
value for a certain business?
They could have value for something in the business, but like if you want to take that token outside of the realm of the business, it would need liquidity. So like if Mark says, okay, I'm making these NFTs, but these pieces of wood right here, if you trade me a rewards token, you get one of these. But Mark already has a bunch of these, so he doesn't have to, spend any H-bar on them.
Yeah, technically that inventory becomes your liquidity, right? As long as because if you run out of stuff to give people for the rewards that they earned, then all of a sudden that reward is now useless. The liquidity, which would technically be the inventory, is now dried up.
Yeah, but it's still the same as like you take a coupon, right? 20 cents off a meal at Chick-fil-A or wherever. That right on coupons it says no cash value. Meanwhile, there's a whole market of people though willing to pay for it, like on eBay or something. Hey, I'll buy your 20 cents coupon for 10 cents. So even though there's no liquidity outside of the business, it's whatever people assign to it. If people assign value to something, then it has value, no?
Right.
Yes, but the way the tokens work is pretty much like how the gold standard, how we used to print money, right? You had to have something backing up your currency. And that something is a liquidity pool when it comes to creating the tokens. What you're talking about is like private sell, like that wouldn't be liquidity, right? So if I have a Mark Lombardi token, and there's no pull behind it, but I know that I can redeem it for something, and I'm willing to sell it to someone that sees value in that. Yeah, it's worth something to a private seller, but it wouldn't be worth something like on a exchange or an exchange within itself. So I imagine in the future Hedera is going to have an exchange, like how ZillPay, you open up your wallet, and if you have a Mark Lombardi token, it is equal to, so many HBAR, and then it has the exchange right there, and you transfer it, you convert it, and then you can purchase, whatever you want with it.
Well, and there's levels. Like a asset can have different levels of not the amount of liquidity, but how liquid is the asset itself, right? So, for example, Bitcoin is more liquid than Hedera because there's a greater market for. Right? It's easier to turn your Bitcoin into fiat and use it to buy bread than it is to use Hedera at the moment, only because not as many people are using that as right. And I think that any other item that you would give away, how easy is it for you to turn your rewards token or your coupon into cash, right? Maybe there is a marketplace for people buying and selling coupons, but it's not the easiest thing to turn into cash. I don't understand how liquidity works, but what were you saying?
So basically, like, so how it would have to happen, right, is if I want to launch 10,000 tokens, right, I need either, what you do is I want to launch it at 10 cents. I need that amount of money to back up 10 cents worth of all the $10,000, 10,000 tokens. And then after that, it can go up, it can go down, but then the liquidity pool is,
Well, it doesn't have to be 10 cents too, right? You could have
it doesn't.
It could be 10 cents worth of Ethereum, right? It can be another asset.
Yeah.
As long as it's backed by something.
Yeah, as long as it's backed by something, but I said, there's different ways, right? So, Peter's using the token as, we talked about, almost like a point of entry for something, right? Whether it be tickets or something, and then you're talking about rewards, whether it could be that piece of wood, and then there's also a token that could be worth money. So yeah, there's all different facets to having.
But what about
a token?
But what if you get into tokens that exist that aren't backed by anything or that don't necessarily have value?
Those are called rug pulls. Because I'll tell you what, I was involved in my first rug pull was called a newbie, and it was on the Binance chain, and I was invited to a pre-sale, and I made money because I had a gut feeling, because I went in the Telegram chat no one knew anything, the developers weren't giving straight answers, and people bought, right? So the money went into this token that it had a huge supply, to the point where I was able to buy 3% of the supply. I bought billions of tokens, right? And I only invested $1,500. It peaked at $27,000, and then it kind of went down a little bit. And then I was telling her, I don't feel good about this. She goes, well, just pull out. I said, all right, I'm gonna pull out. And that's what she said. And then, next day, middle of the night, the guy took all the liquidity from the contract and ran off with it. And now I have a bunch of tokens still that are worth nothing.
So essentially Shiba Inu. Is that so? Would you call that a rug pull?
No, because what would happen is, for that to be a rug, they would have to have access in the contract to the actual liquidity pool, and they'd have to pull liquidity, right? So it means that you hold, say all your HBAR, right? If Hedera decided today we're gonna pull all the money that everyone chose to purchase the tokens with and go shopping, and we're never gonna see you again, that's a rug pull. Now your Hedera, even if you have 100 million or whatever, 100 million Hedera HBAR, it's not going to be worth anything because the liquidity's gone.
Right.
You just have a useless token.
But the council
But
would
how
never
does
allow
it
that to
get-
happen.
I'm sorry?
But the council would never allow that to happen, which is why it's important to have
Yeah.
a governing
Or-
body that makes sure that there isn't somebody at the top who just has the code that can pull everything out, right? It's
Yeah,
harder to
or
pull
another
reputation.
aspect of a rug is like, if someone is allowed, they're called like wells, right? If a well is allowed to own, more than 5% of the circulating supply, and they sell, they'll tank that token, and in that fear of that sell, that tank, everyone kind of jumps ship, and then until there's no liquidity left, and you just the name of the game for a lot of those like crap coins is to not be the last one holding the bag.
I was just
Right.
going to say that.
Yeah, I wasn't the last one holding the bag, so I made profit on that Anubis. If I would have slept in and woke up the next morning, I would have had no money, right? Because they pulled the liquidity.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's kind of what life is, right? It's just a game of
Yeah, it is.
Wonder
Yeah,
ball
it-
goes round and round, and whoever's stuck with the stuck holding it at the end gets the bill.
yeah, pretty much. It is. Yeah, it is poetic like that.
Well,
I
I
like
mean,
that.
and all markets go through that. Growing up, I remember thinking that housing prices just go up indefinitely, and I think a lot of people were lulled into that sense of, this asset always appreciates in value over time, and then until it doesn't, and then it
Until it
collapses.
doesn't.
Right, and if the general population doesn't have enough money to buy a home, then the price of housing has to crash.
Yeah,
So,
like right now, it's gotta crash soon.
See, that's what I say, because like you should see near me, the house next door to me was $130,000.
Now it's like
and that was
400,000.
that was last year, and this year it was on the market for 400, and somebody came
Yep.
and they're like, "We'll give you 450," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
I'm
same.
like, why?
My pop's house went up by $300,000 this year. And
But the other thing is
It's
that's also pent up demand as well, a pent up demand on top of COVID
Yeah.
demand. Because I don't know about you, Peter, but we wound up with a whole bunch of New Yorkers moving in when COVID hit. We wound up a bunch of all throughout Connecticut, really, just a lot of New Yorkers flooded into the suburbs.
that's what's
Yeah, they
happening
left.
to
They went
Florida.
everywhere. Florida's
and
always been
Texas,
New York.
too.
Everybody in Florida's from New York.
Yeah, there's a lot of north. Yeah, there's where I'm at. I'm in southern Florida, like down, almost near Miami. So, like, there's a lot of Floridians down by me. But I usually meet more people that are not from here than are, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of a transplant area,
Yeah.
right? It's a place that people move to get away from wherever the hell they are.
The snowbirds.
You know why? There's no state taxes.
Right. Well, that's
Well, I
what
mean, you do pay state taxes. It's like they push them off on homeowners.
There's no state taxes in New Hampshire.
Yeah. Oh, we got
Nice.
state taxes
No,
in Connecticut.
no
for
sales
sure.
tax either.
As a matter of fact, we've got a lot of the Florida license plates up here in Connecticut because everybody that snowbirds registers their car down in Florida, and then they spend the rest of the year up here in Connecticut.
Hey, before we move on to another topic,
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin this video, but is anybody else having like internet problems? Is people cutting off, or is that just something I'm experiencing?
I think it's just something you're experiencing. Everything's kind of seems like it's flowing smoothly here on my end.
Flashbacks for Peter.
That's right.
Snap your spine. Little LSD goes back in. So. Everything's out of sync.
That's my spine. I don't know if Peter's got enough built up to do any damage.
No, I don't do that stuff.
Right. If I cracked my back, I'd probably just disappear for at a time. I'd be sucked into a wormhole.
Just like how what's behind you, just disappear.
And I think Jacob wanted to talk about NFTs, right?
Yeah, I mean, since we're on the topic of the tokens, I do want to say this. There's a lot of people. There's no such thing as an NFT artist. A lot of people are over here and they're like,
I agree.
NFT artists. I'm just like, what? No, there's artists, and then they use the the non-fungible token as a vehicle to sell their product, but it's not an NFT artist and it's not a crypto artist. You're
hold
still
on.
producing. I'm sorry.
See, I saw your tweet about that last week or whatever, but
Yeah.
and I agree with you. But then I started thinking, well, isn't there a such thing as like an oil paint artist, or
The oil is the medium, though.
Right. Well,
It's-
and there's
goes on the
digital
canvas.
artists. Right.
There's
a lot
digital
of
artists,
a
yes.
lot of NFT artists are digital artists.
Digital.
Yeah,
correct.
okay.
That is correct. Yeah.
But they don't have to be. There's plenty of people who are taking photographs of their oil paintings and then tokenizing
Like Tanya
those
Rabilis
and stuff.
takes a picture of her. Well, they do like it. Not even. It's. I think it's even better. It's more than just a picture. It's almost like a digital scan, and they upload. I mean, the good ones at least do like a digital scan, and it's uploaded as if it is a piece of digital art, and then they'll send you the physical, which
With
are
the
really
NFT?
cool. Yeah, yeah. So the NFT is the price ticket for the digital one, and then you get sent the physical.
That's
Like when I bought I forget the artist's name now. Oh my god, she'd
Well-
kill me too. But anyways, I bought an NFT. I got a T-shirt with the print on of the NFT I bought, and then I got an actual, digital paper print that I could put into a picture frame.
I have the original Doc Baird NFT. There was the one of one. I can't remember who put that NFT together now, but it was
Hedera Forum.
yeah, Hedera Forum. That was it. Yep. And so that I have and I think that was the first example of a physical item that came along with the digital NFT
On Hedera.
on Hedera. Yeah, correct.
I do want to say that for the NFTs on Hedera, for like the art, like the one I'm using right now is Hash Axis. I have trial and error trying to mint on there. It's not very clear. I wasted probably about $20, and it's not the end of the world. But their site, and this is constructive criticism if you're listening, is mix up the homepage, because every time I go on, it's the same exact artist, and I feel like nothing's being sold. And I probably am 100% wrong.
Oh, there is.
that
They
assumption.
posted some numbers too that were impressive.
Yeah, but I wouldn't know because it's the same stuff when you log in, right? So it's been the same exact pictures up there for like a week and a half, right? And I'm assuming, well, if I go to the store, if I see something, the stock is gone, time to replace it with something else, right? So that it gives me a feeling like, oh man, is anyone shopping here? Am I the only one in this room?
Do they have a search function or a toggle switch
They
where you
do.
can see what has been sold?
I believe so. I can check right now.
You can on each artist you could click sold, and it will show you what's sold of theirs.
Gotcha. Because that's an important part of a lot of marketplaces is to see what is actively selling.
Yeah, they have like collections, explore collections, NFTs, and activity. But like when you first just go on the homepage and like you scroll down for the featured NFTs and the featured collections, it takes up the whole front page pretty much. And you have to get almost near the bottom. They save the very, very bottom for
If
latest NFTs and collections.
If you click at the top, and I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure if you click explore and then explore NFTs, it will show you the latest NFTs that were just uploaded.
Correct. Yeah, it shows you the newest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because we're on the topic of NFTs and the marketplace, I got to bring up Jacob's point. Jacob has said many times, and I agree with him to a certain extent, that NFTs on Hedera are too gift shop. They have a gift shop like feel. Everybody wants to throw an H on everything. Everybody wants to put. But more people need to just create art, and I'm starting to see it now.
It's
actually,
happening for sure.
There's that photographer. There's I don't know if you guys are familiar with her, but there's a Yuki Doodle is her name. She calls herself. She has like these Japanese style. Yeah, she actually collaborated with oh man, why can't I? The Fugitives Club too recently, but it's like these Japanese style things, and they're amazing.
They're
Originally,
really cool.
like she started these ones that were sumo wrestlers, but they were different fruit. Like it was pretty cool. But
That's cool.
but
Yeah, she has
but I
one
mean,
that's a flower head. It's a geisha with a flower head or something like
Yeah.
that, and it's just it's beautiful.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it is a turnoff. It is a turnoff to go in there and see all the branded stuff. Because like, same thing. Like I saw my first anime NFTs. I saw, of course, Ethereum, but second was, I mean, ADA. I know that's such an ugly word. I hate it too. It just tastes nasty coming out of my mouth. But they had the anime girls, but then they had them all branded, and I was like, it ruined it for me.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the basic premise of them being branded with a trademark logo, and then you're selling that when you don't have permission from Hedera. That's that's step one, right?
well, I guess it depends. So Hedera has stated that this, their capital H logo is a
Is
trademark.
theirs.
The one behind your head, that is not a trademark, and they prefer people. I mean, I think Lehman said it himself on a Spaces. He prefers everybody use the lowercase h symbol, but then there's also the matter of artistic creation and fair use. So I don't know if it's majorly a problem, but at the same time,
Well, they've
I know,
both,
like,
sorry.
Like if you see when they're doing stuff that even have to do with cars, like they'll do like Porsche, but they'll spell it Poursh, right? And then they'll kind of mess with the emblem, so it's a Porsche, but it doesn't say it's a Porsche, like how they spell it, and the emblem is not exactly the same as a Porsche. Because I came across a guy, and he was selling like really cool, almost exact to the detail 3D models of cars with the Ferrari logos, the Lamborghini logos, the Ford. And I told him, I on a DM, I said, listen, man, I said, I love your stuff, but like I wouldn't want to buy it because I would be afraid of owning that and like getting sued or something, right? And he reached out to a lawyer, and he told him the exact same thing. He says, no, you cannot use the name.
Yeah,
you
well,
cannot use the
because
badge. You need to change them.
you have to have a certain amount of artistic expression or be making a statement. There was an artist a while ago who sold this artist, a physical artist, did something with Barbies. It was a photographer, like took pictures of Barbies and did this whole thing. And I think, what is it, Mattel maybe tried suing him, and he was like, no, he was like, my project is showing he's like, my project is showing like the unrealistic beauty standards you have set. So the court ruled like, no, that's fair use. It's artistic.
Yeah,
but
it's like when people draws Mickey Mouse sometimes, and it's kind of like a demented form of Mickey Mouse. It's not that happy, smiley Disney, it's something else.
Yeah.
So that falls under fair use too. But he's changed it enough that it's his.
But a lot of people in this space too, like especially on Twitter, like they'll just start reaching out to people. Hey, you're violating copyright law. And half of these people honestly don't know what they're talking about. Because then there's also public domain, like characters like, I believe Winnie the Pooh is in the public domain.
Right.
Like you can use.
I didn't know that.
Betty Boop is in public domain too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, but you can't use, like, for some reason, like Disney's Winnie the Pooh is not public domain,
Right.
but the original Winnie the Pooh is public domain. So like a lot of this stuff you can use, but just you can't use other people's creations.
Right. You can use Cinderella, but not Disney's Cinderella.
Yeah, like I brought up in the past on Twitter in an argument, everybody's like, hey, you had some, I think it was back on Go Mint, it was the Gremlins guy. They're like, you're going to get sued. And I'm like, no, they're artistic. I'm like, because if you think about it, I always use Warhol as an example. Like he painted Campbell soup cans. Like,
Right.
and some of them, I mean, I'm going to get hate for this, had no artistic expression in them at all. Like they were literally like, just
it was just realism, hyper realism. But to make it very simple, right? For even, I think a lot of people can understand this. You can understand this more than some because you did some music stuff too. But I have Acoustica, and I own thousands of loops. I can use them and sell them. But I can't take a short loop of music, and sell it by itself and try to make money off
Right,
that.
you can't resell their product.
Yeah,
You
I
can
have
use
to
it
make
in a new production.
something.
Yep.
I have to make it into a production, turns into fair use, and then I can sell it. But I can't just make one whole, drum loop and then go, here it is, and then sell it. Like, no. So
Hey, you
it's
wanna
the
hear
same
something?
difference.
On that music topic, just because it's talking about trademark and people's stuff, my brother went to school to be a music engineer, and I remember one day he came back and
Mine did too.
he was like, do you know why there's not many secret tracks anymore on CDs? Because I don't know if you guys remember like Green Day or something.
Yeah.
You could pop in the CD and then like 2 minutes of silence go by and then there's like a secret song. And my brother was like, because somebody trademarked silence. Like, and I looked it up at the time and it was true. Like there was a guy who held like the trademark.
Oh, is it
for
John
silence.
Cage? Is the name
I
John?
don't know.
Is the name John Cage?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
so
have no
he
idea.
was. I when I went into college, I went in for broadcasting my freshman year, and I wound up switching out into business, and I think for good reason, because I don't know that the the radio broadcast industry would have been the best way to go coming out of college, as like that was the beginning of the collapse of radio. Although it's still around, I just don't know that they do awfully well in the radio industry, but. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about with Hash Access? How has that process been for you? Because I haven't worked with and you guys have both done some stuff with Hash Access, right?
There's a couple things I don't like, right? I don't like the minting process. It's not clear to me because they'll have like when I'm minting something, like they're like, oh, I have to make a collection. I'm like, okay, I'll make a collection, I guess. Like a collection, like I've minted on Tezos, Ethereum, like Zilliqa, like a lot of different platforms, and a collection is usually like a feature that they add all of a sudden to a platform, a minting platform. It used to be like you just mint, and then through the minting process asks you, what your royalty is and how many of that, do you want? Do you want 1 or do you want 1 of 1,000? And then you just mint it. But on Hash Access, you have to make a collection, and then there's 2 of them. There's like a group collection where there's going to be many of them. Then there's a collection for just 1 of 1. But then underneath that, it says how many like bodies of whatever, I forget the exact verbiage, do you want of this one? And it's very confusing because like I already messed up. I made a 1 of 30. I was like, well, I want 30 NFTs in this collection. It turns out it's not 30 NFTs. It's each time I mint an NFT now in this collection, it's 30 copies of that NFT. It doesn't tell you that. It's very they need to really give a clear description if they're listening. I hope you do that.
Yeah,
and number 2, I think that was all of them. Yeah, I think that was my
No, so I minted with them too, and I had some confusion about the collections and that stuff, and I reached out to them, and they explained it, and they actually sent me some like how-tos they had on their website, which explained it way better. Maybe I should have read before I minted, but because I made a mistake too. But
I tried reaching out; they didn't reach back out to me, so I guess
they have
I'm
a
too
chat
small
on
of
their
a fish.
website. No,
Yeah,
they
I
didn't.
sent it in a chat, and they just gave it was like a automated frequently asked. They must have get asked it a lot then because it was right there, and then I figured it out after that. But
So here's a good question. What to do with misminted NFTs?
no, yeah, that's a second
No,
one.
hold on, because that's a point I've been trying to do for a while.
Burn mechanic. We need a burn mechanic.
There is a
No,
burn
they need
mechanic.
They
Is
need
it?
a garbage.
It's
They need a
inherent- Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
No, they need a garbage disposal account that anybody on Hedera can send garbage to. I mean, essentially, even a whale could use it to burn HBAR if they wanted to. But you need a wallet. You need like a multi-sig wallet that nobody can touch. That's a garbage disposal. I actually talked to Greg a while ago from Hedera about this, and he was like, "Yeah, write a HIP." But I don't know how to write a HIP. But
Yeah, but so Hedera has a burn mechanism built into it. I don't know that any of the platforms are utilizing that burn mechanic. They don't have a dashboard to implement the burn mechanism.
Yeah, there's no like I wanted to delete. I accidentally made a collection. I spelled descent wrong, right? The descent, and it reads as decent, like I'm a decent guy, instead of like I'm going down a flight of stairs. I'm descending, and I'm like, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to delete this, but I can't. There's no way. It doesn't tell me.
No,
how.
there's only an unlist button.
Yeah, there's only an unlist, but then they can still see it.
Oh, can they? I don't know.
Yeah, so I have like a blank folder now, and I look like a total noob, and I don't know who's going to take me seriously. I mean, I got my art up there, and it's good stuff, but it doesn't look professional now, and I don't know how to get rid of it, or if I even can.
Garbage disposal.
How do I delete it?
Yeah,
exactly.
We need a garbage disposal.
On every other, like if you go to Tezos or Ethereum, like there's literally an unlist, and there's also a burn option on their dashboards where you can just burn and it's gone. You don't have to worry about it. But I can't unlist and then say if I'm like, okay, I want to move from hash access and I want to now mint on Plural NFT, right? If I still have workup, I should be able to burn it off and then migrate. But I can't migrate if all I can do is unlist because technically it's still a double mint because I'm minting on both. But if I burn on one, mint on the other, it's a different story.
No, in an ideal world, you just move it over, right? You wouldn't have to burn it and then remint it.
In an ideal world, it's already done on Tesla. I keep using Tesla because it's such a good platform for that. But they have, which is called Hen, right? And then they have object.com. And I can take an NFT, it aggregates it from what I've minted on Hen, and I can choose to migrate it to the contract on Object and pay the gas fee, and then it writes it on the new contract, and without burning it. So it's just like, so it takes it off of Hen and it moves it over to Object. So it's possible.
But, see, I think all those problems are again, we're still early in Hedera, and
we're early.
That's the same problem.
We're early.
We're early, but we're not too early.
I don't think we're early. I think.
Let me use this as an example.
It's early as a retail. We're early as in Hedera caring about retail investors.
No, we're early in the fact that we're not widely adopted yet, and that's why that's why I still think we have all this gift shop NFTs that you were talking about, because new people are coming on board. And even though like somebody like me or definitely Mark, I don't know about you, Jacob, how long you've been in the Hedera community, but like there's some people that have been here for years. So you get these newcomers coming on and they're like, oh yeah, Hedera, this new thing. And they're branding everything like, oh, I'm going to make this Hedera this, the Hedera that. And they don't realize like that's been done already.
Well, I think it's the OGs that are really. It's the OGs that kind of went overboard on the H everything.
I mean, I'm here. Let me think now. I think it would have been April or May. Actually, it was April. No, maybe even March of last year is when I started my journey into Hedera. So it's been almost a year.
And what was it that brought you in? What did you see that?
Actually, my friend Luna brought me in. She told me about Hedera, and I was, I had XLM. I had, my portfolio was crazy. I had like 20 different cryptos I was invested in, and then told me about Hedera, and I read into it. I was like, damn. I was like, no joke. Like this stuff is real, and I got deep into it, and I was like, oh hell no! So I unloaded so much stuff, and I consolidated my bag to like 5 different cryptos from like 20 something or whatever, and then eventually those 5 shrunk more and more went into Hedera, and then I finally sold, my Hedera to fund Wafu token behind me. I sold all my bags to fund it. I have a lot of, I guess, crypto because I have like over 200 NFTs that I can like cash out.
Liquidate.
Liquidate. Yeah, and I do that sometimes. Like, I just made a sell on one from Lawrence Fuller. It was like $450, which is nice because I only paid like $60 for it in the beginning. So that's a plus. And I will say this: looking at art all day, because that's what I do now. I mean, I went from, I don't know, Peter would remember, I went from like always posting charts. I would even draw on the charts too. In case anyone's wondering in the community where that came from, I was the first one to pioneer drawing stupid cartoons on charts. But anyways, I went from that to this full-time NFT, and I'm not talking about, generative projects. Like if you go to my tryshowtime.com/pillow, that's my portfolio. You can see everything I've collected, everything I've made, all across all the different platforms, and I have quite the portfolio of collection and a lot of good art, a lot of different artists. I think I've collected from over 135 different people, different artists.
Wow,
that's awesome.
You didn't buy my NFTs, what the hell?
Okay, as I've always told you, even in private, I love you, Peter, but I'm not the fondest of Go Mint. I didn't like the UI. It felt very.
I'm not talking about Go Mint.
Oh, you made an NFT?
Talk about my art. Like I make amazing art. No, I'm just kidding.
Where is it at? Where is it at? That's what I'm saying.
No, I do. I have some up, but it's under a different name.
Different name?
But
you're
yeah, Jacob, you don't have the news you don't have the Hbar.news NFT?
No.
Oh,
I didn't get.
Oh, my VIP ticket, man! Come on.
There's only
how many
of them are? There's like 20 of them, right?
Yeah, 25.
25.
Exactly. All the more reason to get it now before they're all gone and you don't have those
available. I already have the VIP access though. I got VIP access to the guy right here.
The guy.
I got his number on my phone.
I wanted to ask you guys, HashPack. So I'm fairly new to HashPack. I know it's been around a little bit now, but I did a secure trade with Mark the other day, and I don't know. To me, that's amazingly efficient and a good tool to have on Hedera. Have you messed with it, Jacob?
I have not.
You need to mess with
it's
HashPack.
really good. I can't wait until they have a mobile app too.
Is this better? Is this just like a more intense, better version of KPay?
No, it's a more intense, better version of Exact.
Oh, okay. I have Exact.
And you could like import your Exact wallet to HashPack, view your NFTs, and then even if you want to sell one, you could do like a secure trade. So it gives you a little code you could give to like say me or Mark. We put in the code, and then it automatically associates the token, automatically takes the payment, and transfers the NFT like all in one smooth transaction.
Speaking of which, I want to test out. I have some NFTs that have. Somebody gave me an NFT called Pump Juice.
Pump Juice.
Pump Juice, yeah. But it has they gave it to me directly from Exact, so they were able to transfer it to me, but I can't transfer it to anyone else because it on Exact. Because it has royalties built into it, and they don't have checkout working, and I guess you need to have an escrow in order to trigger the.
But you can do it on HashPack.
Royalty, right? So you can do it on HashPack. I'd like to try that out because I haven't.
Many hoops.
I haven't moved something. Hoops. I haven't moved something around on HashPack yet. But yeah, it should be stupid simple.
It needs to be streamlined because that's what I'm saying. Like, I trade NFTs now, and I did I guess like a questionnaire interview with Stage 3. Is it Stage 3?
The
Peter?
Broadway?
Yeah, is it Stage 3 or is it?
Oh, third act.
Third act, Stage 3.
I was like, what's Stage 3?
Yeah, third act. And I was telling him, I said, once you mint on Hedera, everything else is easy. Because it's way overly complicated. Yeah. And I said, they've gotten better since, when Go Mint first came out. But it's still a long ways off from, what's out there right now, how easy it is.
Everything will get standardized, too. Like, all the wallets are going to wind up with the same features, and you'll be able to do all the same things on all the wallets. It's just now some people don't have the features that you need.
You need mistakes, though. You need a Go Mint to come in and make something, and people to say, I don't like this. Then you need Exact to say, I can fix this. And then Exact comes out, and people will say, hey, I don't like this about Exact. Then HashPack comes out, and they build upon the last previous things, and that's what has to happen. There has to be evolution, I guess, in
Capitalism.
the building on Hedera.
Yeah.
Free market. This is what it's all about. That's how we move forward.
Yeah, and it's moving fairly quickly. I think HashPack was able to get out ahead of the race pretty quickly. So yeah,
Yeah, it's a web app. I'm not super fond of web apps.
No,
well, they're building. So they have a browser extension. So the Chrome extension works really well. But-
Right. If you just add to your
Right.
if I have my phone, I say just add to home screen. It's like a web app that way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
No.
Yeah, it's kind of a web app. Yeah, it's a Chrome extension.
Do you know what a Chrome extension is?
Yeah, I got like.
Well, I don't know. You were
Five
asking
of
like
them.
you didn't.
No, I do. I have my MetaMask up there, and
Yeah.
Surfshark. And
Yeah, it's very
Zelda.
much like MetaMask, but unlike MetaMask, it doesn't have a Android or iOS application yet,
Gotcha.
which will be big. But here's the and Jacob, you're somebody who I'd like to ask about this. So MetaMask has this mobile app, but at the same time, when I go to do something on mobile, I can't if I'm on a site that needs to connect with MetaMask, I can't connect it to the mobile application.
Are you using iPhone?
outside of, no, I have an Android.
Android. Oh, so I know some of them like iOS. They're taking like a stance like they don't want anything to do with NFTs. So like they took a lot of the browsing functions out of the app. And I use iPhone, and maybe a function that's keeping you from, connecting with the API. It's the only thing I can think of, because it works for me, because literally I download like Coin Trade, like I did my taxes recently, and this isn't a paid sponsorship or nothing for Coin Trade, but it was freaking easy. All I did was I uploaded my Binance account, uploaded my MetaMask, uploaded my Coinbase, and it literally it aggregated everything, even loss, right?
Really?
I went to Coinbase, I went to the tax section on Coinbase, we're not able to calculate, your gains or your loss like that. We can roughly do this, but we suggest you do it with, CoinTrader or CoinTracker, because they're able to. And then so I just did everything in there. Then I have the TurboTax app on my phone, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, do you want to connect to your MetaMask or to your Coinbase wallet or your Coin Tracker? And I did Coin Tracker, and it filled in everything.
That's awesome. I gotta take a look at that then.
It made, because I was so anxious this year about doing taxes, because I was like, what do I do? And it made it so easy. I still paid the extra money for in case I get audited, and I paid for live help. But I ended up not having to really use it. I mean, the auditing part, I don't know. Yeah, that's out to be determined. But it's because I know a lot of people are nervous right now with tax season.
Because people don't know how to handle it, and it's been so weird to try and deal with in the past.
But if you do TurboTax plus Coin Tracker, it is the best combo. Because literally, you're doing it right. You're doing your taxes, and TurboTax like, hey, did you trade in crypto? And you're like, yes or no. And it's a yes. Okay. Well, we can import your data. You can upload a CSV file that you can get from Binance or all these other ones. Upload that, or you can, just put everything in the Coin Tracker. And I say to do, Coin Tracker, because the CSV, it is all separate forms, right? So what Coin Tracker does, they take all the forms into one and makes one big report instead of a bunch of different separate reports that you'd have to file.
Well,
and it's just amazing.
Coinbase doesn't work very well when it comes to interfacing with your taxes anyway. It's a horrible
they were way
mess.
off on mine. They were way off on mine. By $6,000 they were off. When I said just to do the tax option, they were off by $6,000. And I was like, what? And then they're like, you gotta pay capital gains tax. I was like, oh crap. I was like, hold on, let me do something else. So then I went to CoinTracker, and I was like, all right, this makes sense. Because I felt it hit my wallet during these crashes. I was like, no way. There ain't no way I'm paying capital things with all the crashes we had, and so it turned out into a pleasant experience. So if anyone's anxious out there that's listening, Coin Tracker for sure.
Absolutely, I got to check that out. That's high. I haven't done my taxes yet this year, so that's
Yeah, mine are done,
that's
filed, done, out.
nice. Good on you. That's responsible.
Yeah, I haven't done mine either. I still didn't even get my tax return from last year. I don't know what the heck's going on.
Witness protection, man, I swear.
Right.
Got the pen names, you got the
There-
purple. I don't know what the purple. You got
What
the
is it?
purple. I don't know. I have no idea.
We're all flying
Hey.
with some purple in the background there too today, though. I got some.
This is true. This is true.
Mark has an
the theme of the
Italian
day.
last name too,
Yeah,
by the way.
He
So.
does. It's a cover.
Yeah. we're all mafioso, of course.
I'm named after a porn star, whatever.
Well, this was. I think we're wrapping up on an hour here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unless anybody has anything else they'd like to toss in,
Go to
Nah.
Hbar.news. App
go to
coming
Hbar
soon.
News. Beautiful.
Yes. And on there's an article about Waifu. Wafu. Wafu. Check it out.
Cool. Yeah, I've been loving
Yeah.
everything up there on Hbar News. You're doing an amazing job with that site, and I'm looking forward to watching it grow.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, gentlemen. Well, have a wonderful evening, and we'll all be back
You guys
together next Wednesday, and I'm sure we'll be in touch in between as well. All right. Have a good one.
See ya.